Alrighty, I'm going to activate the microphone now because we're about 5 minutes off the starting time. To the 4 people who are in early, thanks for dropping in early to get ready for the stream. Hey there, Blastoise, Joshua McKinnon, Macca Man, all those good things. Just a quick volume test if you are listening at the moment. Just let me know if the volume on the microphone's too high or if the music's too low. I can do any of those final adjustments just before we start off. But otherwise, I think we're good to go. I can see I'm peaking the mic a bit, so I'll lower the volume a little bit. That should be a little bit better, hopefully. But yeah, 5 minutes off the start time. We'll get things rolling pretty much smack bang on 5. Should probably keep talking over the music just to make sure that the sound's alright. Once again, don't want it to be too overpowering, but I do want it there to be present. Just as a bit of a reminder of some of the amazing tunes that we've listened to throughout the season. Hi there, Nicole. Thanks for joining into the stream early. Once again, just doing a final check to make sure that the sound's alright. If there's any abnormalities, if everything's too loud or too soft, just let me know. And obviously I'll adjust that just before we start at 5 o'clock. Seon, thank you for joining. Hopefully everything's all good on your end. It's nice and smooth. The sound's not peaking or anything too bad. As I said, we'll be ready to kick things off in about 4 minutes. Alrighty, we're 2 minutes off the start time. We'll wait for a few more people to come on in. Hello, Isabel. Thank you for joining. Hopefully everything sounds alright on your end through the mobile phone. And that it's not echoing out through the door to you as well. But thank you for joining in on the stream. We're going to kick things off in about 2 minutes. I'm just making triply sure that everything's okay before we start. Going to double check the live chat, see if good people are showing up in the chat. Fantastic. We'll give it another 2 minutes till we kick things off. While we are hanging around, hopefully you can't hear the clicks of the keyboard too loudly. This is going to be very PowerPointy high schooly, unfortunately, because I don't have the skill set to do anything amazing with OBS. But 1 more minute, and then we'll get going. Probably about 30 seconds left. As we're waiting, once again, hopefully you guys have had an enjoyable weekend, been able to relax now that the season's over and done with, no more stress thinking about all of those badges. But as this song winds down, we'll get started. Sorry, as you can hear my voice, hopefully you're all excited for the hour of power here. I'm going to switch now across to where my face is. G'day everyone. As I normally say on this channel, DJ DARQs here. But to some of you from Australia, you like to call me Daddy Dark, so we'll run with that one. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon for this sort of impromptu end of season stream. I tried to do one of these at the very start with one of the first ones, but OBS and that laptop didn't work too well. This time around, hopefully things run a bit smoother and we can go through and sort of just celebrate the end of this, what I think is an amazing kickback to doing seasonal content in Australia. Once again, I'm part of a group that we started called Oz DDR-Events. And Oz DDR-Events' ultimate goal is to give you guys really awesome stuff to do while you play DDR. Just, you know, some external goals or something that you can work towards in a seasonal fashion, so there's not too much pressure. It's something you can just sort of do on the side as you're playing your session. So if you're ever sort of frustrated or worried, you've always got something to fall back on alongside, you know, the site that we've obviously got going. So if there's any technical hiccups with the stream or anything, not my fault. I've tried as best as I can to have everything nice and smooth for the hour, but who knows, things might go wrong. But either way, just bear with me. Thanks for joining in, and I guess we'll just kick things off. So, first thing I wanted to do was just a basic rundown of what we're going to be doing in the stream. Very teacher of me, unfortunately. Sorry, guys, it is just how I roll. So I just want to go over the season in general, have a look at some of the interesting data, because Box was really nice to share some fascinating stuff, which I thought you guys would be interested to look at. Have a look over the leaderboards as well. There's some really, really cool stuff to see in the leaderboards that I also wanted to point out in this stream. And then obviously we're going to talk about some of the stuff that's going to happen from here. Now that the season's over, what happens to your badge ranks? What happens to the site? What's happening moving forward? So, really straightforward rundown, but we'll get straight into it. So the first thing that I wanted to do was to just go way, way back to last year, maybe, I think it was November or so. Now, as most of you were probably aware, there was a really bad isolation in Melbourne. We got locked down in, I believe it was April of last year, and we didn't come out of lockdown until the end of November. So in that whole time, most Victorians didn't get to play DDR at all. And it was a really rough time for a lot of people, especially those working in jobs like temp jobs where they don't have stable employment. And even for the people who did, it was really tricky because for a lot of them, myself included, DDR was the only sort of form of exercise that you could get. So coming out of COVID, it was really, really rough getting back into DDR. And obviously, you know, that first session, jumping back on the pads, I'll tell you now, I played at 12 and I thought I was going to die. So, in light of that, it just so happened, perchance, I got approached by Aruxis, if some people know her from Melbourne, and she said, look, I'm trying to work on web design at the moment. And I would really appreciate it if you gave me the opportunity to work on the seasonal site, like you were doing ages ago. Would you be okay with me trying that? And I said, yeah. Look, absolutely fine. Give it a shot. And then she said, well, would you be able to use it in the future? And I went, okay, so we've just reopened Victoria. We've got a whole bunch of players coming back into the game who probably need a little bit of motivating or a little bit of a refresher to the game, or a way to sort of ease back in. And that's when I sort of realized, okay, what if we just start a new season at the start of next year to get things going, to make sure that people have something to do. And that's where I sort of came up with these main goals for this season. So with Summer DDR-beque, I mean, the idea came to me, funnily enough, when I was at a barbecue. Just going, and it's so relaxing, nice and easy going. It'd be really nice if, like, you know, I had this feeling when I was playing DDR, not constantly feeling like I'm dying. So the three main things that I was trying to focus on as we started up the events again were to obviously have content for players to sort of get the seasons going again. I know that Southern Cross was quite good, but sort of fizzled out. I know that Aura 20 was very, very new and a little bit confusing, and obviously I wanted to build on that and make sure that we keep that going, because there was a player base there and there was a group, i.e. that Discord, that we could capitalize on. And once again, as I've shown there, I want to make sure, as Alexis wanted, to have the website up and running and have something which we can use as a hub, not just Discord, for doing those events. So, going further along, once again, a lot of you have probably noticed this event hasn't been like super duper full on. It was quite a casual event. A lot of the content in it wasn't super challenging, I don't think, with the exception of like one or two songs. I thought it was a nice, enjoyable set to do. And once again, with all the themes that we do for these events, I want it to be something uniquely Australian. The barbecue culture here is obviously very different to anywhere else in the world, so I want to reflect that in the event and give you guys that feeling of like, you know, you're trying to impress people with your cooking or your barbecuing skills, as some of you have. So, once again, the main idea was laid-back theme, ease people into the event, ease them back into seasonal content, and hopefully at the same time introduce that website. Alright? So, moving forward, just wanted to sort of reflect on the things that went really, really well. The first thing, obviously, was we did get, as someone put in the feedback, a sick AF website out of it. Once again, huge shout-outs to Box, to Nee, who doesn't play DDR, but did a lot of work, to ChillX, and to Aruxas, who really did, those two laid down the foundation for the site, and really got something fundamental that we could work off. But as you guys saw, from day one till the final day, those guys didn't stop working on the site. They worked the whole way through. They ironed out any issues. They didn't leave things hanging. They didn't just go, oh, my job's done. They helped. If anyone had an issue, they were on it like that. They tried to deal with it as soon as they could. And I just want to take this opportunity to shout out Box and Nee especially, who just kept that going the whole way through. So thank you so much, guys, for that one. So yeah, one of the huge pluses is now having this amazing website that we can now base all of our future events off of. The second thing that went very well was participation. When I went back and looked at the data from Southern Cross season, we saw that there were 42 total players across that seasonal event. And when I came into this, and I spoke to the person who was in charge of like the web marketing, I had a web marketer guy who's a friend. He asked, how much retention are you looking at having for this event? And I said, look, we had about 40 people, so look, if we get 30 back, I'll be really, really happy. You guys far blew that out of expectations. We actually ended up with 39 participants, so that's like a 98% or 97, 98% retention. And looking through the play base, look, we've had some people leave the seasonal content. We've had a lot of new people come into the seasonal content. But the fact that we got close to the same amount of people in this event was just mind-blowing for me. Right, 39 people is a really good number, and I'm hoping that it keeps growing as the seasons move on. So thank you so much once again for participating. It means a lot to me as a person who's put all the time and effort to organise it. And obviously the last thing that I wanted to point out is the community. Obviously, it's been so good after coming out of COVID into being able to play at the arcades again and just seeing so many people coming together to play this game and participate in the events. A few of these photos, these were just ones that I found off the what was it, the Bimani Sound Team Oz DDR page of Christoph's visit down to Melbourne. But once again, it's showing mainly a Victoria bias, but I couldn't find pictures from other states, so I probably should have got the tournament picture from Queensland and from SA and from Sydney as well, but rush effort, unfortunately. Sorry guys, that that's my bad. So yeah, really, really good overall in terms of the number of people that we've seen come back and come and get involved with these events. So thanks again, guys, for doing that. Going the other way now, there were a few things to reflect on, unfortunately, with the event. Not everything went completely smoothly. And I just want to highlight a few things you guys might not know about when it comes to the event and the back end of it. So the first thing I want to point out is, you can probably see here, this is a document that I put together every single event. I've learnt from Naoki Yoshida, who's the developer of Final Fantasy XIV. He developed everything off one spreadsheet. One monstrous spreadsheet. And I sort of do the same thing. If I have ideas or things that I think might be cool, I'll put them down on the spreadsheet. One thing you might notice about this spreadsheet is there's a lot more on there that was actually than was what was presented in the season. And originally, I was super ambitious about this season. I was like, this is going to be one of those like really out there, full-on seasons. And as I kept designing and as I started trying to balance the song lists, I started realizing, holy smokes, this is way, way too much. Like, people aren't going to be able to get through all this content. So as you can see there was a whole bunch of other dishes that I had planned. Fish and chips, a seafood platter, steak and chips, fish burgers, veggie burgers. And there was going to be like 18 individuals. So it was like 10 courses, 18 individuals. It was massive. But then I eventually went, okay, no, this is insane. I've got to scale this back because no one's going to get through all this content. Right? So as a result of that, we ended up with what I believe is a decent bunch of individuals. But as I cut the courses back and kept to the original design, the best representation I can do of this is kind of like a Snyder cut of the season. It didn't really represent what I wanted it to long term. And we see that in the courses, right? Which I'll touch on a bit later. Guidelines. Now this is the other thing which I realized. Thankfully a lot of people got the hang of it very quickly or had participated previously. So you knew how the course system worked from Valkyrie Dimension and the trials, etc. But for newer players, people who just came in, we noticed the thing where that's a lot of text, and it doesn't really tell you a lot of information that's key. For example, people don't know that you need 4 pictures. The other thing was, I noticed a lot of people were getting the order like really, really wrong because they were going off just what was given on the website. So that was something where I kind of tripped up. I feel like this could have been represented a bit better for you guys, so I apologize. The good thing is, look, I'm probably not going to use the random ordering system again. Moving forward, we'll do clean-cut courses, so it's a lot easier for you to understand. And then obviously the final thing, which is a point that people made all the time, was, oh my god, why do I need to play Catch Our Fire and Elemental twice? So coming back to that original design document, as we saw, the overlap was there because originally we had 10 courses, and there was going to be a lot of different stuff mixing in, so it didn't feel as samey. But as we cut it back to 5, as a result, we see that repetition in there, which I wasn't originally planning for. And that's some feedback that I got from that survey that I gave out. So, as a result, look, moving forward, there's not going to be samey courses in the next couple of seasons. We're not going to do the mix and match. It's going to be a very clear-cut, unique song in every single course. Alright? So, once again, it's really good to reflect on these things, try and make sure that we do better for you next season. So that's the general overview I wanted to give of the season as a whole. Once again, I feel like it went pretty well. Judging by the feedback that you guys gave, it was actually very, very successful, and you guys enjoyed it a lot. And I want you to know that, you know, we are listening. And I want to make sure that you know that we are going to do our best to make sure that every bit of feedback is applied or heard and used in some way to make sure that every season's super enjoyable. On that topic, let's now look at those participant breakdowns and some of the data that Box provided me in the last couple of nights that I thought was pretty interesting. So, with the 39 participants, what we actually did was we broke it down by state, and we're going to look at the rankings of the states and how many people actually participated from those states. So starting at the very bottom, we do have the ACT, which we're going to count as something different to Sydney, and we've got one player from ACT. I think you all know who that player is, but once again, it's at least good to see that even in those more remote places, if that's what you want to call it, that we've got some players playing there and participating. The 4th place was Queensland. We had 3 players from Queensland. If any of you are in the chat, thank you so much for getting Queensland involved and submitting during the event. I know there's people who are part of the group from Queensland, and a lot of people who are aware of it but haven't actually joined in and participated. So next season, chop chop, try and get those players involved. I want to see Zaya, I want to see PT Saigi, I want to see Nene come back. Yeah? So Queensland, good effort, but once again, I want to see some of those other players. Now, we actually had a tie for 3rd. WA and SA both had 4 players total. And once again, there were lots of players who signed up, but not everybody submitted scores from those areas. So we actually had a tie in that area. I counted 4 from both. But really nice to see your communities also getting on board and trying it out. Great to see players like Panna and Camster going all the way through to the end. Great to see Nico joining in. Didn't see any scores from Volkov. Try and get him to submit next time, hopefully. And obviously, new players like JJST who joined in and actually put stuff in. I mean, albeit not the best scores in the world, but at least trying, right? And that's all that I really ask at the end of the day, is that people just get involved and try these awesome things out that we're experimenting with. Now, second place. Second place obviously went to New South Wales, one of the bigger communities, and one of the oldest communities for DDR. We had 7 unique players there submitting scores. And big shout outs to a few players from this area, namely Niku Pigu, who got on it from day 1 and submitted tons and tons of scores. Great job, Nick. And the other one, which has been really amazing, is Kashi. I saw Kashi playing Nobar a year ago, and to see the progress he's made up until now, absolutely insane, right? You know, all of a sudden, since he's been holding that bar, his scores have just skyrocketed. So excellent job, Sydney players. Once again, hopefully we see more of your community joining in. There's a lot of really crazy people up there who I know would make a huge dent or a significant placement in those rankings. So obviously, that leaves one more place for first place, and that was obviously Tasmania and Antique. No, I'm just kidding. It was Victoria, of course, the home place for this organisation, with 20 total players which rounds us up to our 39. And once again, that's mainly because of influences like DARQs. Once again, huge shout outs to DARQs getting people involved. And players like Bricks, I was going to say Adam. But, you know, these sorts of players who have been really dragging people in. Oh, and of course, I can't forget, obviously, Matty, Frozen Glacier, who's been putting in huge amounts of effort, even before the season started with DDR. So to those players who've been a really big influence, thank you so much for proliferating the event and getting people involved. But that's the basic breakdown of where the players are. As I said, let's try and hit that 50 mark for the next season. So get involved, get your friends involved. Let's keep the season momentum rolling. Right, the next thing I wanted to talk about was badge breakdown. Now, with the badges, even though we had 39 participants, we did actually have a lot more accounts created in that time. And if you created an account, you were automatically awarded a badge, which I thought was pretty nice. It's basically a free badge, right? And that was the grey badge in the bottom right down there. The number of people that got a grey badge, or the number of people who made an account but didn't get an actual badge, was 28. So it shows there are a number of people there who have signed up, but maybe things got in the way of the season that didn't allow them to participate. So 28 people who have an account, raring to go for next season. Now for the first badge, the red badge, you needed to get 3 total dish stars. So that was either just passing the course or failing 2 or 3 courses, right? So if you made 2 or 3 dishes and didn't do too great, you got this badge. Or if you did the first one to a competent level, i.e. edible, as I like to call it, you got this badge. And there was 4 people total who did that. A few people to shout out from this area. Obviously, our coder and guy who could have easily gotten a green badge, but was too busy fixing all the issues with the site, Box. Huge shout outs. And obviously, look, he deserves an opal badge long term because he's one of the superstars that made this possible. The other one, obviously, was, as I said before, JJST. Submitted something for pretty much everything. And as a result, I awarded the badge because, you know, it's all about participation. If you participate, those badges are there for you to get. But we'll keep moving up. The next badge that we had was the red 2. I think this was 6 dish stars total. So you needed to play at least 2 courses and do decently to get this badge. We had 2 people in this range. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head who they were, but with 39 people, it's hard to remember exactly who's got what badge. So either way, the 2 people that got the red 2 badge, congratulations. Blue 1. Now for blue 1, I believe it was 8 or 9 dish stars. We had 5 people in blue 1. So once again, this is people who either did reasonably well on 3 courses or tried everything with sort of moderate success. So 5 people in that category, once again, really great effort. That means that they've done most of the content in the season and probably submitted for every single ingredient. So great. This is the area where the people are really committing and trying. On that topic, we've now got blue 2. Once again, we had 2 people there. I believe this was around 11 or 12 stars. I might be off. Once again, it's a bit hard to keep track. But once again, similar boat to the blue 1 people. These are the guys who submitted most stuff to a reasonable competency, but pretty much gave everything a go. Green 1, there was 4 people. Green 1 is, once again, submitting everything and doing quite well across the board. So the people who've hit that green badge, excellent work overall. That means that you've really, really pushed and done some of the harder stuff and done reasonably well on it. Green 2, similar fashion. This goes to players who either did really, really well and missed out on 1 or 2 things, or did pretty phenomenally across the board. I think I know the player that got this green 2, and that was E/Butt/Gokken/Tom. So shout outs to you, buddy. Thanks for coming out and doing those sessions with me. Hopefully you enjoyed the season as much as I did. Next we have Gold 1. And Gold 1 was, once again, people who did pretty much everything. I believe you could get Gold 1 if you had 5 stars on everything except 1 course, but also if you did every course to a really high standard, right? So players in this category, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Oh god, should probably just check Discord. It's listed there. So Gold 1 we had, oh god, trying to scroll through very quickly and figure it out. Nico, shout outs to you for getting that gold 1 badge. It is a tricky one to get. You do need to put in a fair bit of effort to get it. But once again, keep it up for the next season. I reckon that you can easily hit a gold 2 if you have a little bit more time. Gold 2 is second highest rank for this one. You needed to do incredibly well across all of the courses. I think this was an average of like 4 stars across every single course, and in order to do that, you need to be playing at a really high level, like averaging AAAs across the season. So, really, really good job to the people that got Gold 2. I believe one of them was Hung, so shout outs to VTC. And the other one, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but it's not coming to me. But congrats to those people. Finally, we had Opal, and this is the thing that shocked me. Well, not so much shocked me, but made me really happy to see. Opal was very attainable for a lot of players this season, and that just goes to show, one, that people have been great participating, but also just the rise in level of the average player in Australia. It's really amazing to see some of those players go from starting 2 years ago to just smashing it. And as a result, we actually had 7 Opal players this season. And that's a lot, considering in previous seasons we only had 1, 2, possibly 3 Opal players. 7 for this season is huge. And that just goes to show they took the time out, they played hard, they got the rewards. Right, so if you achieved Opal in this season, congratulations. You 100% earned it. You deserve it. So that's the badge breakdown. And we'll talk about badges a little bit later in the stream and what you can actually do with those badges and what's going to happen with them. But keep in mind, those people, once again, hopefully you're happy with your badge result. And if not, look, not a big deal. There's always going to be another season that you can participate and try and increase that ranking. So, moving on, we also had some data on the number of scores entered. And this was actually really fascinating to see. So this goes to show how many people did the content and then went back and then tried to do the content again, right? So, I think on average you saw maybe around 30-ish submissions. But once again, the spread was huge. We had people that would submit like maybe 1 or 2 things, and we had people up in like the 60s. So I thought I'd show you the top 5 players for submissions. Starting from number 5, who was... Oh, no, that's incorrect. Cashy's actually from New South Wales. Apologies for the typo there. I had to move some things around. But Cashy from New South Wales, 45 scores entered. So that shows that he's played everything and he's gone back and he's honed and he's tried to do better and better each time. So congrats, Cashy, and amazing efforts. Number 4, and I'm not going to take any awards from this, was DARQs from Victoria. The only reason why I entered so many scores is because I did the courses so many times with people and did the ingredients with other players so that they could get those bonuses. So, look, that one hopefully should go without saying, but 48 scores for myself. In third place, we had Nick Nigu Pigu from New South Wales with 51 scores entered. And once again, Nick from the get-go was going super hard. He got everything done, I think, within the first weekend of the season being out. So, Nick, awesome efforts there. Thank you so much for really, really getting involved and sort of bringing in the New South Wales crowd. Second place was Blastoise from the ACT with 52 scores total. We're going to be seeing a lot of Blastoise's face throughout this stream as we go through the leaderboards, but amazing job once again with those submissions and motivating other players to shoot for those top scores and keeping it really, really competitive at that top end. So huge shout outs to Blastoise there for number 2. And number 1, and you'd probably think, wait, if Blastoise was number 2, who the heck was number 1? The number 1 player for submissions was actually Bricks from Victoria, Adam. You submitted 53 total scores for the season, which once again just goes to show that it wasn't just a day 1 effort. You constantly went through, you kept trying to improve those scores. So, outstanding stuff overall, and once again a huge shout out to you for your participation, because you were going hard for most of that season. So, once again, when we're seeing about 50 scores, that's when you know someone's been going super, super solid and trying to push to get as high a score as possible for the season. And hopefully the people who are on that list are super proud with their efforts overall. Alright, so moving forward, let's actually have a look at the individual leaderboards, because these are really cool things that I wanted to point out. So what I've done here is I've taken the top 10 scores for the leaderboard and the screenshot for the top score. So on our intro song, Burn in the Floor, as we can see, the number spot was taken by Christoph from, where's he from? Wollongong. Sorry, I was going to say New South Wales. Wollongong in New South Wales. He got an MFC while he was down here in Victoria. And he sent that to me straight away and my jaw dropped because before that, as you can see from the scores below his, we do see that it is a really tight race at that level. You're looking at anywhere, like the top 10, you're looking at within 12 perfects. And 12 perfects is not easy to get on a song, right? You've got to be really, really spot on. So, looking down below that, obviously second place was Blastoise with 1p, Camstar with 3p, Brix and myself tied with 5. I was really proud with the 5, and then Brix had to come over me and be like, oh, sorry man, I took your record on the machine, I got 5 too, so he knocked me down a slot. Next up was Nigu with 7, then Nico with 8, Barx with 8, so they were tied, and then obviously 9th and 10th was tied between Dax and Frozen Glacier. Dax from New South Wales and Frozen Glacier from Victoria. So as you see, that's a crazy margin for that first song. And really, really impressed with how many people managed to get that 5-star cutoff, because I believe to get 5 stars on this ingredient, you needed 9 perfects. So the fact that 8 people got that, and most of them within like the first week or so, incredible. Absolutely incredible. Alright, moving along, we've then got Holic. As we can see from the records there, the number 1 score was from Blastoise with 2p. Now, it should be noted that a lot of these scores, I assume, would have come from people that are old school players, because this was like the go-to song back in Extreme. You know, you had people who were constantly just playing Holic non-stop, and you know, you'd see, oh, that's the 6th song that's got the easiest streams, I'm going to play it too. So, in Box Hill, everyone played this song non-stop. So, obviously, you'd expect some of the old school players to be getting those high scores. And as we can see here, 2p, absolutely insane. Underneath that, we've got Camster 4 and Brix. Once again, a WA player and a Victorian player with 4. We then have Dax with 7, which is also insane. Nico underneath that also with 7, which is, once again, if you're getting sub 10 on anything, that level of accuracy is just mind-blowing. It's like, you need to be so spot on. Underneath that, we've actually got a nameless player there. I was meant to fill this in, but that's actually Peter from New South Wales. And I know that he's a little bit hesitant with sharing stuff publicly, but once again, huge shout out for participating and getting involved. Hopefully, in future seasons, you know, it's not as intimidating to post those scores, because once again, it's all a bit of fun. Hopefully, you keep submitting, because it was really amazing to see scores at that level. Below that was Barx, and my maths is really bad. That's 11p. Actually, more than that, 13p for Barx. Me below Dave by 1. I should have tried a bit harder on Holic, so damn Dave, you beat me by 1. But 14p for myself. And then just below that was Gulmon from WA, who got 17. So overall, sorry, not 17, 16. I can't count. It's been a long day, unfortunately. But once again, we look at the race and we just see how close it is on those lower songs and how hard it is to get a placement, right? So once again, outstanding scores in that department. We'll keep moving along. The next song was Heron, and honestly with Heron, I was expecting most people to get, you know, like 10p, you know, 8p, if they're like a really, really good player. No, I was absolutely shocked by the level on Heron. We actually had 2 players, Christoph and Macaman, Blastoise. Christoph and Blastoise who got 1p, both of them, right? And when I saw Barix got 3, I went, oh my god, no one's going to beat that. Because I remember that the Blastoise message saying, yeah, I'll probably try and beat it, but I wasn't too confident. But when you look down the list, same consistency we see all throughout this season, the margin of error is just so close. You're not seeing like 10-point differences. We're seeing 2-3 points between one place and the next place. So every single perfect counts at the top end for these songs. And once again, we'll go through. Obviously, Barx with 183, so that's 3p. Camstar with, I cannot count, 6p. Brix as well with 6p. Nigu, once again, Nick, with, well, I can't count, 11p. Then 12p, 12p. What's mine? I'm trying to do the math. I can't. 16p. And then 17p for Gwilmon. So once again, really, really tight race at that top end. Insane for me to see those leaderboards unfolding. Alright, so after Heron, I believe we have Eternal Summer. Now, one thing I wanted to point out about this score, which I thought was absolutely hilarious, is that the top score isn't even a PFC. It is actually a one great score with 3p by Blastoise there. And this brings me back to a major point of the seasons that I want you guys to remember. The seasons are EX based, so even if you get 2 or 3 greats, your P count might be insane and you might have beaten your score. So, I mean, there's a couple of times, even with myself included, where I got a double A on one of the songs and ended up beating my record by a pretty big margin because my P count was way, way lower. So, and this is why we go with EX over money score, because it's about pushing through the whole song. It's not just, oh, well, you know, I got 1 great, so it's over. May as well just stop. Every single note counts. So make sure that you make sure when you're doing the seasons, just keep that EX score in mind, because as we can see from the Blastoise score, every single score counts. Make sure that you keep on top of that. But yeah, we'll go through the rundown. So obviously we've got Blastoise here with, I believe that is a max minus, I can't do the math here, 4 or 3? Sorry, 5. So it's a max minus 5. Then we had Camster with, I believe that's around 12. Or, maybe more than that, actually. Jeez, that's 13 on top of that. So it's 18. Bricks with 20. Dax with, 27. Nigu with what I believe is 32. Me with a lot more than that. Well, 32, tied with Nigu. Really good to see once again. And as we go through, you'll see that the margins start to broaden quite a bit with the scores. Really tight race at the start, and then it starts to fan out as we go through. So, once again, we see that it's a pretty tight race. One person that's shown up here, which wasn't there previously, Hung, VTC, now known as Sikablit. Really, really amazing to see him join in at the very end and actually get a decent ranking through the end of it. So, great job there. Obviously, BarX Dave, who just shot for the 5-star and called it a day. Great job there. Nico again with 9th place. Once again, seeing your accuracy now is kind of scary. Because obviously I saw you when you were like first starting up here in Victoria. Now seeing you now over in SA. Getting these levels of scores is just insane. And of course at the very end there we got Maddie in 10th place, who has been pushing super duper hard this season. So that's Eternal Summers top 10. We'll move on now to Right on Time. Bane of My Existence. Holy smokes. This was way harder than I thought it was. I threw this in as a little bit of a laugh, and shout outs once again to Bricks, because the reason why I put this song in is because I saw Bricks playing and went, that'd be nice for the season. And it was not fun. It was actually excruciating to play this song. But the amazing thing here is obviously seeing Blastoise with that MFC. I believe he got that about halfway through the season. And I thought that the scores up there were already pretty insane. Like, seeing BarX get 5, I was like, whoa, no one's going to beat that. In comes Blastoise with this MFC. So, absolutely bonkers. Camster as well. Huge score, dude. Absolutely huge score. That's a 10p. And 10 on that, I think the record before the season started was like 20-something. The fact that it went from 20 to an MFC is just, it blows my mind. So, obviously going down further, we have Bricks, who has 14p. Myself with, I can't do math, 17p. And I got a PFC. I never thought I'd PFC that song. So, it goes to show, perseverance is key. I barely passed the first time I tried it. So, just keep trying, guys. Once again, there's no limit to the number of times you can try in a season. Just keep at it. Underneath me was Kashi with 26p. Grillmon, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Grillmon with 28p. Dax Darren with, I can't do maths, I'm absolutely shocking. 31p. Sikablit with 40p, and then Nico once again hitting that top 10 with 40. No, it's not 40. It's 32p, I believe. No, it's not. It's, oh my god, 38p. But either way, as we can see, that margin's starting to widen the more technical and the more complicated the charts get. I'm just being mindful of time, so I'm going to skim as we go further down the track. Nightbird Lost Swing, which ironically enough is lining up with the background track. Now, this was a really technical 14, and I remember playing this for the first time going, good god, how does anyone score on this? Insane to see people getting single digits on this. Cam, when you put your score in, Camster, when you put your score in, I thought, that's not going to get beaten for a while. And then obviously now we've got Blastoise there with a 5p score, which is huge, right? But looking there, as we can see, now we're starting to see margins of around 20 points once things start to get a little bit more technical in the charting. So, once again, myself, 20 points away from Barracks, Bricks within, I think it was 5 points of me. Darren or Dax, once again, 2 points. Then Nigu within a point, literally a point difference between Nick and Darren. So, amazing to see that consistency across Sydney. Matty Tran, Frozen Glacier with 1464, so about 10 points off Nick. Cash again, 1 point, so really close. I'm noticing a trend with Cashy and Matty just being really, really close there. And then finally down the bottom there, which I assume is just one try, is Sikablit VTC with a 1452. So we're starting to see things sort of fan out a little bit more, and as we go up, we start to see that consistency on those higher level players and just how much further ahead they get once we start ramping the difficulty. On that topic, let's go to the next song, which was Pierce the Sky, one of my favorite charts. I absolutely love this chart. And I thought, I really want to see some incredible scores on this. And incredible scores I got, as we can see there, the top score is by Christoph with 5p. Now, to understand how insane that is, this is full of technical charting, broken patterns, crossovers, slowdowns. It's got the works with the exception of charge notes. So to get 5 on this is just mind-blowing. I think the record before this was like 12. So yeah, 5 is just, I couldn't fathom it. When I saw that score in there, I just went, what? Excuse me, 5? That's top level, right? And this is coming back to that point of the player level here has gotten so good, not just at the very top end, but also, as we can see, down the list within like the top 10 players. We see that it's not a 100-point difference between 10th and 1st. It's, maybe 70 points or so, which is, not a huge margin. It means that there is some competition there and there is improvement to be seen across the board. So, really happy with that one. Moving on, Shakunetsu, Beachside Bunny. A thing about this song, and this is a confession from myself, I screwed up the list. This should have actually been the Stamina song, and Super Summer Sale should have been the seasonal individual song. So, whoops, I made a mix-up there. But as a result, we ended up with something quite challenging for the 15. If you didn't play this chart, obviously it's full of streams and jumps. It is a very stamina-heavy song, because look at the note count, it's close enough to 600 notes. And that's not jump notes, that's just straight streams and jumps. So it is a really tough song. It doesn't let up, and as a result, there is a lot of margin for error there. That being said, once again, we see Blastoise there with a 5p, and thinking about that, making only 5 mistakes in 600-ish notes is, holy cow, really good. So yeah, huge score. I think he got that one on video, so go check out his YouTube if you can see it. Campster next with what looks like, I'm terrible at maths right now, 24p, around that, or 26p. That is also absolutely insane consistency, and that comes from, once again, these two guys being veteran players. They've been around for literally decades now, which is kind of scary to think of, but still really good to see you guys in form and playing that well. Barracks as well with what looks like 27p. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. I just can't fathom how you guys are that accurate, because when you look at Barracks and then me, I think mine was around a 60p. So going like literally double the P count, that's still a P of C, but the consistency at that level is just mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. We then had Dax with 7071, so around 70p. Same thing with Sikablit VTC, around 70p. Bricks with, I believe that was like 72 or 3. Once again, I could be slightly off. Cashy there as well with the AAA. That was a solid AAA Cashy. Matty Tran, Frozen Glacier with the 1727, and then our 10th place being Nigu Pigu, who I need to point out, he's a no-bar player, so the fact that he's getting scores that high no-bar is also kind of scary. Alright, 3 more to go with the individuals, so we'll try and speed through these. The next we've got Prana. Now, if you didn't try Prana, this is the same thing. Very fast triplets. It's a very early song, so you've got to be hitting fast and early, with 1 random freeze, and one really annoying crossover, but our top score was an 11p on a 16, which once again is really, really insane. And the other thing I wanted to point out about Piranha is it was really hard to get 5 stars on this ingredient. I believe the 5-star cutoff was 1690 EX, and that was not correct. That was actually a value error on my behalf, so it was really, really hard to get a 5-star on this. So only 3 people got the 5-star on this. That was Blastoise, Camster 4, and Barrex, who are, once again, old school players. Really, really amazing consistency overall. But otherwise, look, if you got a 4 on this, which I believe was like in the 1600 mark, that's still really, really insane on this song, because that's like AAA level territory, right? Magnetic, which is honestly my favorite 17 of all time. This also had a really, really harsh cutoff. I believe it was 2060 or 2070. So we had, once again, only 3 people that managed to get that 5-star cutoff, which was, once again, Blastoise, Camstar, and Barrex. So you're obviously seeing a trend here of who these top players are in the areas, and hopefully the players that you guys are pushing for in the next upcoming seasons. Underneath them, I believe my score was a 989, so I've never AAA'd this, so I was really, really sad. I got a few extra greats that cost me the AAA. Otherwise, 2048 is pretty good. Kashi with the 2000, if you're passing 2000 EX, that's like a 970, 980k score, which is huge. Darren Dax with a 1991. VTC with a 1990, Bricks with a 1958, Frozen Glacier 1949, and Dapper, who is also known as Celine, if you've seen that name. I was asking about that on Discord, with a 1862. So, once again, we're seeing the gap. Once again, these charts are really technical. They're not easy charts to pull off. So, the fact that people are scoring this high is crazy. Absolutely crazy. And obviously, our final song for the season, which was the ultimate challenge, was Cozy Catastrophe. Now, I got the influence to choose this song, once again, from the KAC track. So, this was the, what was it? The KAC 2018 set had Cozy Catastrophe in it. This chart is so brutal. Like, unbelievably brutal. It's got everything. Slowdowns, crossovers, stops, you name it, it's in there. And it is a monster to do stamina-wise. I really struggled with this chart. But as we can see, look, there were some plays that persevered through. The highest wasn't a AAA, it was a 986, which once again shows it's not so much about the money score. That's still a AAA territory score, right? If he got one, or if Blastoise got 2 less misses and maybe 2 less greats, that would have been a AAA easily, right? So push for the EX. EX is what matters. Anyways, just to tell you guys the cutoffs. So the 5-star cutoff for this was actually huge. It was 1890. So only 2 people managed to get a 5-star on the Spices ingredient. And those 2 being Blastoise and Barrex. Camster 4, very, very close. But once again, it is a really tough song to score well on. Kashi getting a 1664, which is insane. Once again, Kashi was a no-bar player who started using the bar, and ever since he has just skyrocketed. He's so good now, it's kind of scary. That score of mine, I believe, was a 900k, so that was the rough 900 mark. So if you were getting around that, then you were doing really, really well. I believe that was 4 stars or 3 stars. Either way, it was really hard to get that ingredient. So if you managed to even get 2-3 stars on it, amazing job. Because this was a challenge set for the highest players of the season. So overall, look, that's all the individual leaderboards. We're not going to do the course leaderboards because unfortunately there are no course leaderboards. And I can't present them as neatly here, unfortunately. So, that being said, I will address the course leaderboards in the next section of the stream, which is going over our overall rankings. Now, this is something which I wanted to get implemented in the site early on, but unfortunately we couldn't do, just due to time restraints. We had Box and Knee working really, really hard moving house during the season, so it's not like I'm going to say, hey, drop what you're doing and implement this feature for me. So what I ended up doing at the end of this season is I actually took a spreadsheet and worked out rankings manually like I did back in SCS. Thankfully, the site made it really easy, though. So the way that we determine the overall placing in the seasons is using a thing called rank points, and this is a system that is often used in 2DX or any sort of competitive game with an EX system where they don't want that scoring system to skew the result too much. So the way that it works is that anytime that you score higher than a certain player or rank higher than a player, you will receive a point for the number of plays that you're ahead of. So just to give you a basic example, let's say we're looking at KAC. Let's say it's Chris for Life versus Ashima on a song. Chris is ahead of Ashima, so he will get 1 point. Say we've got 3 players, and Chris for Life is ahead of 2 people, he's going to get 2 points. So the thing that contributes most to rank points is the number of people that have played that song and how many people you rank ahead of in that song. And this system uses both the individuals and the courses. So I took every single course score, every single individual score, and laid it out into a spreadsheet to tally the total rank points for the season. So of the 39 players, I'm going to put up a huge table now. This is the overall rankings, going from 39th all the way through to 4th, because I wanted to save the top 3 for the season for the last slide. If you can figure out the names missing, you'll figure it out quite quickly. But as we can see, it's really good to see people participating a spread throughout the season. And one thing I want to point out with the overall rankings is that the more things you've got to score on, the more points you're going to get towards your overall ranking in the season. A few things of note that I want to point out is there were some people in here that honestly have ranked quite low that could have ranked higher, and that was solely due to time constraints or not being able to play during the season or not getting their scores in on time in some cases. But overall we see that, yeah, there's a really, really good spread with those scores overall. And with the ranks, it's pretty uniform as we go up the list, except when we sort of get to that higher end. Once again, huge shout outs to players sort of in that top 10 area. I've already mentioned Kashi, who's just skyrocketing. Dax, who's an old school player. Darren, absolute legend. Nigu Pigu, he's done all of that no bar. So the fact that he's ranked 8th overall in the season, no bar, is insane. Matty Tran, Frozen Glacier, who's been pushing super duper hard. Once again, huge congratulations to 7th place. And huge congratulations on tripling all the 14s. I haven't done that yet. So, amazing stuff. VTC, I believe he did all of his scores in one night at the end of the season. So, the fact that he came 6th from first tries, I mean, he probably could have taken top 5 if he'd actually played more than once. So, amazing job, Hung. Well done there. Bricks coming in 5th. Now, before I looked at courses, Adam, you were actually ahead of me. You're beating me by about 20 points. But after looking at courses and consistency, I pulled ahead. And that's only because I'm stronger at probably faster stuff than you are. But when it looked at technical individual stuff, you were ahead of me by about 15, 20 points. So, once again, have a look for your name there. Give yourself a pat on the shoulder for your effort. Once again, really good to see those 39 people putting in those scores. Now, let's get to our big 3. So, the overall rankings. In 3rd place with 372 rank points, we had DARQs from Victoria. So Dave, once again, huge shout out to you for being a big guy in this season. You came out of the gates flying, 5-starring everything, putting in some really competitive scores where I thought, nah, people aren't going to beat that. But you really, really pushed people forward to try and keep ranking higher and higher. So huge shout out to Dave and congratulations on 3rd place. Right, in 2nd place with 396 rank points, and you can probably start to guess who they are based on the individual lists, we have Camster4 from WA. So once again, now I keep calling you Cam, but I know your name is Matt. Matt, congratulations on this one. Same thing here, really great to see you actually participating through on the seasons, giving everything a really solid go. I know that you were sick for SCS, or most of SCS, so to see you back in fine form and getting the scores you're getting is absolutely insane. Huge shout out again also to the WA community for getting involved. Hopefully we see more of those players coming in on our next season. And then of course we have to look at our number 1 spot. The 1st place going to a player with 424 rank points. That's a huge margin, right? I'm sure everyone can guess who this is going to be, but 1st place goes to Blastos of the ACT. So, Maccaman, Josh, congratulations on getting number 1. And once again, thanks for being a huge contributor and helping to promote the season overall. You've been really, really supportive to the players on the Discord, and you've also been really, really competitive and pushing players like Matt and Dave to really try and upscore and keep those rankings competitive. So excellent job overall to you three. I'm going to talk to you guys about prizes that I'm going to award for that in the next section. But once again, huge congratulations overall to that placement and to all the players for where you've done overall in the season. Once again, it's been an amazing episode through and through. So let's talk about what's going to happen from now, because I've got about 10 minutes. So with seasonal rewards, now this is a thing which I was thinking about originally way back in Aura 20. And we actually started looking at sort of ideas of what we can do to reward players for their participation. Now, that badge that you've received in your profile, that is a permanent fixture to your profile. So you probably notice people who are participating in Aura 20 or people who are in SES have their badges still on their profile. Those badges are a permanent thing that you can keep and once again wear as a badge of honor. That being said, what we want to do is we want to give you the ability to get a physical version of that badge. So I've been in contact with the organizer of Valkyrie Dimension, Brittany, who actually works for a metal company who does enamel pins. And she makes those beautiful Valkyrie pins, and we want to do something similar like that for this season. So I'm currently discussing with her, and hopefully you guys are interested in getting a physical version of your pin for the season that you can put on your bags or put on your DDR towels or wherever you want to put them. They're quite small. Actually, I've got an example here. I've still got the Aura 20 ones. They're quite small. I'll put it up on the webcam there. So it's, you know, button sized, but it's a souvenir that you can purchase and hopefully just wear and be proud of your accomplishments for that season. So we're in the conversations with Brittany to get those produced and hopefully shipped across to us. And I'm also going to get a logistics director who's going to take in the orders and hopefully dispatch those to you guys if you are interested. So once again, physical badges are going to be what we're going to do this season. That being said, we were exploring a bunch of other options. So one of them that I was thinking of was doing shirts similar to Live 4. Unfortunately, all of the people that I was discussing shirts with weren't able to produce anything for this season due to time constraints, resource constraints, etc. So that's something which we're going to explore in the future. And the other one is maybe towels or hats, which you can wear. Me personally, I'm not a hat person. As you can see, my hair's not great anyway, so not a huge hat guy, but if that's something that you guys would like, definitely sound off, let us know, because we're always here to listen to suggestions or hear supportive things on what you guys want as some sort of memorabilia or a thing that you can take away from the season and hopefully support the Oz DDR-Events website. So if you have a friend who's in the apparel business, or if you're in the apparel business, or if you have any ideas of stuff that would be cool that you'd want that's season related, hit me up anytime. I'm all for listening to it. So that's what we're doing for this season. Hopefully you guys are excited for that one. I'll keep announcements going out obviously over the Discord and in Twitter about those badges. But now for the final thing, obviously the barbecue's wrapped up, we've packed everything away, and now it's time to rest. But now you're probably pondering, if we've just finished Aus DDR-beque, what on earth is the next season going to be? And what I wanted to do right now is introduce you to our next exciting season, which is going to be Dingo 8, my DDR season, which is all about looking at clues in an environment and figuring out who the suspect is, and then prosecuting that, or Dingo or suspect according. No, I'm messing with you guys. This is just a meme. We're not doing DDR season. Dingo 8, my DDR season. Complete joke. Okay, what we're really going to be doing is Tim Tam Slam Special Season. And what this is learning techniques for best consuming Australian confectionery. So what you're going to do is go out and purchase those confectionery items, and then obviously do the process for enjoying it at the most where you can. No, I'm messing with you guys again, alright? We're not doing Tim Tam Slam Season either. Alright, the real season we're doing is DDR Didgeridoo Agent Season, right? And that is where you have to go out into the wild, collect different pieces of Aboriginal tools, and using them to produce the best possible... Okay, okay, I can't keep doing this, but once again, one thing that I want to point out, guys, is that I'm not short on ideas for seasons. Each season's going to be unique. It's going to have a theme that it's going to follow. And once again, hopefully it's going to have a format that you guys really, really enjoy. But don't stress, there'll be plenty of seasons coming up after this one. Now, we are actually in the process of discussing and going through the next season. But we haven't finalized anything. So what I'm going to do before we end today's stream is to give you a little bit of a teaser. And I wonder if you guys can figure out from this image here, which is it's a bit cryptic, what the theme might be. That being said, look, there are 5 minutes left on the stream. I just wanted to take these last 5 minutes out to quickly thank all of you guys as players. You've all been fantastic at motivating me to put these things together. Of course, on top of that, big thanks to Box and Nee for, you know, keeping the website going and as amazing as it is. To some of those players that have been really supportive, BarX, who's really pushed me, Christoph, who's been a really good support throughout the season and getting involved where he can. We've also got players, once again, like Maddie, who've been really active. Players like Nico, who's been supporting and helping out the SA community. Up in New South Wales, obviously players like Kashi, who's been really pushing. Nigu Pigu Nick, once again, really nice guy. Thank you so much for your participation. And, of course, the people who've been supportive in other ways, such as Izzy Saw, who did all of the amazing artwork for the pictures for this season. She put blood, sweat, and tears into doing those adorable ingredients. And other people as well, like obviously the Macca Man, who's also been a really supportive person throughout all of this. He's my go-to when I've got an idea, so once again, thanks for being an ear anytime that I've wanted to discuss something. And yeah, once again, look, really happy overall with how the season's gone. And I wanted to take this hour out just to talk to everyone and say that thank you and celebrate this as an overall success for something which I thought was dead in the water and wasn't going to go anywhere after we stopped. So, look, as I've said before, anyone who wants to get involved, we are looking to hopefully expand Oz DDR-Events team, or the Oz DDR-Events team. Whether you're a programmer, a person who's in logistics, or a designer, or anything like that, if you want to get on board, any help is really appreciated, because once again, a lot of the stuff that happens here is voluntary. No one gets a paycheck out of this. A lot of the stuff that gets produced, i.e. the site running, etc., that comes out of people's pockets. So hopefully if you want to donate or contribute in some way, please let us know where you can help out, because we really appreciate any help that can be done. The other thing that I wanted to point out was that we're also going to start looking at in-person competitions, starting with Victoria, namely because we feel left out. All of you guys got an awesome tournament, whether it was with Time Zone or Tunza or iPlay. You guys got that tournament. We didn't get that tournament. So my number one concern right now, outside of the season, is to get that live tournament going for the Victorian players. And hopefully discussions like that will start happening very soon, and I can keep you guys inundated or in the loop with that. Second thing is, hopefully we can move our online national tournaments to a national level sort of thing, where we organise big meetups and do something in person with, you know, a whole bunch of people. That would be really exciting to see as well. So, you know, that's long-term goal down the track. But other than that, look, I keep saying this over and over, but you guys are the best. One of the best communities I've ever been involved with. Really chill, really excited to help out and put these things together. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed playing through the seasons as much as I have organising them, presenting them to you. But keep pondering about that image I've got on the screen there. We will give you guys information when it comes through or when we're ready to. But otherwise, look, keep smashing those arrows. Keep doing an amazing job playing the game to the level that you are, and keep getting better. And hopefully we see you participate in the same way next season. Otherwise, that's it for me. Thanks again for spending this hour with me. I've just been talking non-stop at a screen, so my throat's getting pretty hoarse. I don't know how Harrison spoke through cran phrases for like 8 hours. It blows my mind. But look, keep in touch, keep playing, keep posting those scores, and hopefully I get to chat to you guys again very soon, either in person or see you participating in the next season. That's it from me. Adios, all the best until then, and best of luck.